Cardiovascular is a compound word. You start the video?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so the word cardio, if you see anything, any word starting with cardio anywhere, that means it is referring to the heart. Cardio has to do with the heart. Like you have many words like cardiology. Ology is the field of study. Cardiology is the field of study of problems of the heart. A specialist who only treats, a doctor who only treats only heart diseases, nothing else, is the cardiologist. So you see how those words are changing the suffixes and prefixes to mean different things. But they are the root words that are the same. Like here, the root word is the cardio, which is the prefix. Prefix is at the beginning of the word, and at the end is the suffix. Because the suffix tells you what it has to do with the heart. So that's how you can tell. Even if you have not seen a word before, but if you know the system of medical terminology or technical terminology, you can know the meaning of anything, even if you have not seen it before. So cardiovascular, the suffix vascular refers to the vessels. If you see vascular, it's vessels, pertaining to the vessels. So the system of cardiovascular deals with the heart and the blood vessels. So we are going to spend more time looking at the structure of the heart. And then we shall look at the function of the heart. And if you know the structure and function, then you can tell if there is a problem in the heart, which is a disease. And that is under pathology. Patho means disease. Ology means the field, area of study. So pathology is the area of study of diseases. So, but in this, and your curriculum, we are not going to go deep into the diseases because that is another course, a higher course. Like if you're going to do anatomy and physiology, then we go through the diseases. So cardiovascular deals with the heart and the blood vessels. So first, let us look at the structure of the heart. Now, here on the screen there is a picture diagram of the heart. So if you see that, there are a lot of things that we have to note, take into consideration to know the structure of the heart. So first, structure means how it is built, how it is made. Function is how it works. So we need to know how it is built before we go into how it works. So that is the structure first, then the function. So look at this is a heart. Now, all the mammalian hearts are looking the same, all the mammals. The mammals are all the animals that bear young ones and feed their young ones with milk. So they have breast milk. So they all have a similar heart. Now, sometimes it goes even to the vertebrates. The vertebrates are all animals that have this backbone here, this spine. That includes things like reptiles, birds, fishes. Now, they also have a heart which looks the same. Now, so what you need to know is what can you see if you look at the heart from outside? Because in order to know the entire structure of the heart, we need to know it from outside, and then we shall cut it open in the lab and look at inside it. So you need to know all the parts. Because if you are going to be a doctor, you have to know the whole human body, all the organs, their structure and function, and then you can go into their diseases. So just like if you are a mechanic, auto mechanic, you have to know all the parts of the car. Then you have to know where they go, and then you know how they function, how they run, and the car goes. So otherwise you cannot fix the car. So here, what do you see here? What is the shape of the heart? Tell me, as you see, what is the shape? Is it rectangular? Is it cuboidal? Is it triangular? Is it hexagonal? What shape? Just see yourself. Tell me before I tell you. No, you cannot see it. Okay, the heart is more, it is not perfectly round, it is not evenly round like a ball, like an orange, because it is oblong type. But it has sides, because you see this is the right side. We call this right because it is my right. If you look at me, this is my leg. So if you're looking at a patient, this is patient, this is the right. So when they talk in the textbook, when they talk of the right side, don't think it is your right side. It is the right side of the patient. So this is the right side of the heart. And this is the left side. Now these sides, they are lined, they are outlined, they are smooth and they go straight and then come up here. Then we have this part here is wider than this. So this tip here is pointed. So they all have names. So there are three sides, kind of, not very perfect, but kind of three sides. Here, like this, is called the base of the heart. And this is the left side, and this is the right side. And this is the apex. The pointed tip is called the apex, the lowermost part. So if you look at those three sides, they make up a triangle. So when they ask you what is the shape of the heart, it is triangular shape. You have that in the note. All these I'm going to ask you the quiz. If you don't pay attention, you don't forget. As usual, I've told you many times. If you just pay attention to your phone and games and whatever, or watching movies, you won't catch it. And when the quiz comes, you're frustrated because you cannot remember. Okay, so remember those for the quiz. Remember the structure of the heart. You have to know the shape of the heart. It is triangular. Then you have to know the size of a human heart, because we are dealing here with a human heart. Not the heart of a fish or a frog or a dog, but human. You have to know the size of human heart. The size of human heart is fist size. A fist, like a fist. It's not a big organ, just like this, but it is very powerful. It's very strong, because it has a very thick wall that has force to pump blood to all parts of the body, which is the function. We are coming to that later. So it is triangular, and it is the size of a fist. So you have to know the shape, the size. Then the third thing is the location in the body. Where is the heart located in our body? That, what do you call that side? Left side, yes. It's your left. It's left.
So what's the shape?
But triangular. But look, in the chest, 75% of it is on the left, but there is a little small part which is on the right, like here. So most of this is on the left part of the thorax. Chest is thorax, medical terms. So you have to know the size, the shape, the location. Okay?
Left side.
Right?
Left side.
75% is on the left side. 75%.
Okay.
About 25% on the right, because it is right here. There is a little portion here, but most of it is right there. And remember, the base, this is the base. These are the right side, the left side, and the apex, the pointed tip. And that is what you see if you look at any heart from outside. The last thing that you see are the vessels, the blood vessels. Now, this is the same vessel, the blue one. It has two branches here, and it is another branch here. And then we have, these ones are different vessels. So there are two categories. The red ones are the arteries. The blue ones are the veins. So we have three types of vessels, blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. You can't see capillaries there because they are very small, very tiny, and some of them are microscopic. You cannot see them. They become smaller and smaller until you But there are three types of vessels: the arteries, veins, and capillaries. So then you have to know the names of each one of them so that you can identify them. Now this one on the left side, which comes from the heart here, it comes beyond it, and then it goes all the way up to your waist. Then it forms two branches that goes to your limbs. Then it supplies blood to all the lower limbs. But there is a part which is coming through your thorax because it comes from here. Then it makes a U-turn like an arc, like the loop. You can see the loop here. Then it goes down and then it will cover the whole body. If we can look at that from another picture to show you the whole thing so that you understand it better. Okay, let us pick up this one here. Okay, if you look at that, it is showing you only the aorta, only. It's not showing you the veins. So the aorta comes from here, then it makes a loop right here, and it goes, part of it is behind there. So you see how it goes? It goes through it comes from the chest, then through the trunk, through the abdomen, the belly, and you see two branches. One goes to this, one goes to that, and it will go until your toes. But as it comes out of the heart, it forms branches, and the branches get smaller and smaller and smaller until they become capillaries. You can't see them anymore. So the capillaries will end up in the tissues. They will end up in all the parts of the body as tissues. Then the veins will, the ones that are blue, they carry blood back to the heart because the blood reaches the terminal, the end of the trip of the arteries is in the capillaries, which is in the veins at the end parts. So that's like your destination. Then there is another path, a route, another pathway that is taking the blood from the parts of the body back to the heart, from the capillaries to the veins. So that is where we have the exchange of gases. The carbon dioxide and oxygen, they're coming to that level. But then after that, the veins carry blood from your body to the heart. So they carry deoxygenated blood. You have to remember that because it can be confusing. We have two types of blood, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So what does that mean? Oxygenated blood is blood with oxygen from the lungs. Deoxygenated blood is blood without oxygen from the body. And that's why they have two different colors. The bright red blood is arterial blood, which has oxygen. The bluish or purplish is the venous blood, which is in the veins coming from the body to the heart. Because oxygen is left in the body, in the tissues. Then they pick up carbon dioxide from the tissues, and then they take it back to the heart, and then it is passed through the heart to the lungs. Because the lungs has oxygen. You breathe in oxygen. So this blood will get oxygen in the lungs and start the trip again. So it is just like a circulatory. Yes?
Where did you say that the oxygenated blood's from?
The oxygen is in your lungs. When you breathe in air,
No, the oxygenated, yeah.
the oxygenated blood is the arterial blood. The blood from the heart, from the aorta to all branches of the aorta, which are the arteries, which end up in capillaries. And then it returns back to the heart as venous in the veins. And this one will come to the right side of the heart. The right side. There are some that come from your head and neck region. You see these ones? They join here and then these ones are arteries, so they come from the heart and they take blood to your head and neck on both sides. And then these ones go to your arms and hands up to the fingers. And this one goes to your thighs and legs up to the toes. So they cover the whole body. But in between here, there are branches that come like that to supply the entire body with oxygenated blood. Then what happens in the body? Let's look at this. I told you every system, every chapter, we shall always be going back to this. That's why I leave it here. So this is glucose. This is the food which has been digested. If you eat carbohydrate foods, that's sugar. So it will be broken down to the molecules which is called glucose. That glucose is in the intestines. So it is small enough to pass into the blood circulation because we have capillaries surrounding the intestines. So it will go into the blood circulation. Then it has to pass through the liver because the liver has to analyze it and change the chemistry because there are many other things that are carried with blood which could be dangerous. So the liver tries to remove the dangers, the toxins, the poisons. So the liver is the chemical factory of your body because it deals with a lot of chemistry in blood and so on. So after that, they will pass into the rest of the body. And then they go to all your organs. They go to the kidneys, they go to the lungs, they go to all your internal organs. And then they come out to the heart. So when they reach the capillaries, they get carbon dioxide because this side is carbon dioxide produced in the body. So this is what is happening in your body. And in your lungs, you have this. So here in the body, carbon dioxide is produced from the reaction of glucose and oxygen, which is brought from the lungs to the body. Then it produces these products, carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The energy is what you need for your body to function and be alive and to do the things that you need to do. But you don't need that water, which is excess water, extra. This water has come from here. It's reassembling these molecules and atoms to make new compounds. So we have water here and carbon dioxide. This carbon came from this glucose carbon, and then it has been organized to a molecule of carbon dioxide. But these ones are waste products, but they are produced in the body. So the blood brings them back to the heart through the veins, then they are pushed to the lungs, then at the lungs carbon dioxide is lost because you breathe it out. But this water here is still lingering in the blood, but it has to be lost also. So when it comes back with your blood to the rest of the body, it can be lost in many ways. You can lose it through sweat. When you sweat, you can lose it most of the time. Most of it is lost through urine. You pass it out when you go to use the restroom. So it has to go through the kidney to form urine, and then you lose it. That's how it works. So it's a long story, but to somebody who is getting this for the first time, it can be confusing. But that's why I want you to read, understand with the explanation, you can master it. So let us look at something else and see. So now was the overall picture, the overview of what happens. So we want to go to the specific now. Now, you have to know the names before we go inside. We have to know the names of all these vessels. Now, this is the aorta. The aorta is the largest artery in the body. This one here, this same one. So here, the blood, which is coming from the left ventricle, that is the pure blood with oxygen from the heart on this side. So it will pass through a valve. This is called the valve, aortic valve. And then it comes here, and then it will form branches that will soak and go to organs. So know the names of these vessels. This is the aorta. Now, this one here is the pulmonary artery. We call it sometimes pulmonary trunk when it comes before it branches, like a trunk of a tree, forms branches. So this is the pulmonary trunk. Then it divides into these two pulmonary arteries, which take the oxygenated blood to the lungs. Because you see it is blue, it has oxygen. So we have pulmonary, trunk, we have the aorta, and then the third one is this. You have to know those three vessels. This third one is the same one here. It goes through here. This part comes from the body. This comes from the rest of your body. That is mean the neck, chest, thorax, belly, the limbs, the lower limbs, upper limbs. But then from head and neck, there is a branch. This one here. So this brings blood from your brain, your ears, all the part of the head and neck. And then they join into one main vessel, which is the vena cava. So the vena cava is the largest vein in the body, if they ask you. So that vena cava, you find it on the right side of the heart. This is the right side. So it pours the blood into the right chamber. So the heart has chambers. These are like compartments of the heart. If you open the heart like this one is already open up. This one before you cut it open, but if you cut it open, you see all this, or this one here, it's the same thing. So we have the heart divided into two sides, the left side and the right side. There is a wall there. That wall is called septum. It is this wall here. Look, it is not very straight, but you can see. It is this one right here. So it divides the heart into left and right sides. So you have two compartments vertically. But then there is also a division here. Look, where you have the lower part and the upper part. So if you take those two divisions and you're going to end up with the cross like this. Everybody, please look up here. I'm doing my best. I'm trying very hard to make you understand this thing in detail. But if you're not paying attention, you miss it. Just look at this, because you cannot look at your phone at the same time looking at this and understand. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, just sit, you're late, so we deal with you after the class. So look, it forms a cross like this, because there are two walls. So once they form that cross, how many chambers do you have? Already 4 chambers. So we have 4 chambers in the heart. We have the upper chambers, this right, this is the left and right. My right is this, but the patient's heart is this, right. So this is the right upper chamber. This is the left upper chamber. This one is the right lower chamber, and this is the the left lower chamber. So you have to know them and don't confuse them. Because I'm telling you this because it's a test. They are going to try to test if you really know them. They know things that you can easily confuse. They bring them in the test. So that's why you have to understand it. Okay, so now you know that the heart has 4 chambers, and you have to know the names of those chambers. The upper chambers are called atria. The lower chambers are called ventricles. You have to remember those terms. Now, atria is plural form because these words come from Latin. They are not like other words that we are very familiar with, but most of the English words come from Latin and other languages. So, one is called atrium, but if there are 2, we don't say atrias, no, we say atria, because plural form. That's the plural form. It does not have S, atria. So, we have 2 upper, 2 lower chambers. The upper chambers are atria, the lower chambers are ventricles. Now, then here, where you have the cross here, we have what we call valves. Because, look, if the blood was here in the right upper chamber, with this wall it could not pass through to go to the left, to the right lower chamber. So there is an opening here, which is called a valve. A valve can be anything that allows other things to pass through but not come back. Like in your tires, you have a valve. When you go to when you have flat tires, you go to the gas station to add gas, to add air. You go there and then so air is passing through a valve in the tires, into the tires, and it doesn't come back. It can pass through, but if it wants to come back, it is stopped. That's why your tire remains inflated and fully with air so that you can drive comfortably. So the same thing happens in the heart. So the blood will pass from the right upper chambers to the right lower chambers through a valve. So we have one valve here and we have another valve here. So this valve here allows blood from the left upper chamber to pass into the left lower chamber. Then we have another valve up here because the blood moves all through these chambers, like all through the rooms and finds its way out. Like if you have a house with 4 bedrooms, then you want to go through the bedrooms, but then you want to leave the house, you have to go through the door. That's what happens in the heart. So here, this is what happens. So blood coming from the head and neck through this, meet with the blood that coming from the rest of the body through this one. Same thing, I'm just showing you different dimensions. So they join here, they are both blue. They carry deoxygenated blood, blood without oxygen. Then they pump it into the right upper chamber, the right atrium. Then this is the valve which lets that blood, deoxygenated blood, to come into the lower chamber. So the blood is now sitting here. It has moved all from your body, all of it is now here. Then that is not the destination because it is deoxygenated blood. It does not have oxygen. Blood which does not have oxygen is not useful for you. You need blood with oxygen. So where do you get oxygen? To the lungs. So it will pass through another valve here. You see this one? And you see it is blue. So it is deoxygenated. So it passes through this and then it branches into 2 branches because you have 2 lungs in the chest. So this one goes to the left lung and this one goes to the right lung. Once it goes to the lungs, it gets oxygen. So it changes. It is no longer deoxygenated. It is now oxygenated blood. Please pay attention to this because I don't want anybody to fail. I'm trying my best. So this can be very complicated for someone who had not had it before because there are many terms to remember and the way it works is a little bit complex. So you have to learn it the small way. That's what I'm trying to explain. So look, after this blood has gone into the lungs and got oxygen, it has to come back to the heart. Because the heart is the pump. It cannot be taken to all parts of your body without passing through the heart again to be pushed and thrown into the rest of the body. So it will come back through the veins. Okay, these are called pulmonary veins. You see these ones? So no. They're shown in another diagram in red. Right here. Look here. These ones here. So these ones, they are red because they contain oxygenated blood. So this blood will come to the left upper chamber. It has oxygen. Then it passes into the left lower chamber, which is the left ventricle. So now this blood with oxygen is ready to be transported to the body. So it makes a U-turn here, and then it does not go through this because it's only one way. You cannot go both. So it will go only this way and come to the aorta. And then the aorta, some will go to head and neck where you have these 3 branches. And this one will go to the rest of the body. It will pass here and it divide, like some of them go to your arms. You see, there are 3 branches. Okay, there are some that branch, they divide to go give blood here to your upper extremities, your upper limbs. So it comes through here. It does not go up in the neck, but go through here. Then it goes to your left and right, and so that all your limbs get blood, oxygenated blood, to be alive. Then it continues. That aorta continues into your chest here, like you saw before when I showed you. Okay, you see here. These are the ones that go to your arms, and then it makes a U-turn and goes like this. So there are some that goes this way and come to your chest, your belly, and then this one will go down to your waist and form two branches going to right and left, and then the whole body is covered. So that is one way, which is going to the body. But when they reach the ends of the body, where we have the capillaries, then they exchange the gases, the two gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen. So the oxygen will be left into the tissues because the cells there need oxygen. See, these are the cells. Sorry, be careful. I want to touch it, but I want them to see. This is one of the cells. So this cell has a cytoplasm and a nucleus. There's a nucleus here and there's a cytoplasm. There's a cell membrane. So these molecules are small enough to pass into the cell. So oxygen will go into the cell. And once oxygen meets with glucose, which already passed into the cell, then they are going to react chemically to give you carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So the energy will pass through the mitochondria. Remember, we did that in knowledge one. So that it gives you ATPs of energy, which can be stored in your muscles, in your liver, to give you energy to do work anytime or keep your body running. But with that, we have carbon dioxide as a product produced here. That carbon dioxide cannot stay within the cell. It will come out of the cell and be taken by capillaries, and then it will be channeled to the veins that coming back to the heart. It comes back to the heart on the right side, then it goes into the lungs. And then when it goes to the lungs, that carbon dioxide is thrown out, you breathe it out. But you breathe in, you take in oxygen. So this is a whole cycle through your body, which happens continuously as long as you are alive. And that's why you are alive and in good health. If something happens or blocks this way, this route or cycle, you're sick and you can die. So that's why we have to thank God that we are alive. Now, people take it for granted. When you're alive and you're in good health, you think it is you. But you have to thank God. Because these things can happen anytime. That's why people die suddenly. You hear that somebody got a stroke. You know how they get stroke? Because blood cannot reach the brain. There's a blockage somewhere. So brain cannot live without oxygen. So the brain cell starts to die. If your brain cell starts to die, that part of the brain is dead and the brain controls your body. So these limbs cannot move without the innervation, the nerves to the muscle to contract and make you move. That's why people get paralyzed, because they get got stroke. And sometimes they don't even just get paralyzed, they die. Because if your heart stops, that's the end of life. So this is what happens. So we have taken the trip through the heart, out of the heart to the body, back to the lungs, then back to the heart. So this is a cycle which keeps repeating on and on and on. Any questions? Okay, that takes us through all the three parts. We have seen the structure of the heart from outside and inside. We have learned all the names of the parts outside and inside. And now we learn how they work, how they function. So what is the main function of the heart? Tell me. Because that's a test question. What is the main function of the heart as an organ? Thank you. Pump. Pump. The word pump is the key. The heart is a pump. We have many types of pumps. We have artificial pumps, man-made pumps that can pump water, they can pump air, but this one pumps blood. It's a natural, God-given pump, and the most powerful pump, because it has to move blood to all parts of your body and bring the blood to the heart and back and forth all the time. It never takes a break. It does not go to sleep or go for vacation. If it does that, you're dead. Since you are born, it does the same job continuously without taking rest. Imagine some people live up to 90 years. So for the 90 years, day and night, it is working for you. So you should be thankful. Okay, so that completes our entire review of the chapter on cardiovascular system. Any questions?